Good morning, Ugandans. Good morning, everybody listening to us from wherever you are. It is NOOP Chapter UK who are going to be demonstrating today at the BBC. We promised we'll be doing and carrying out these demonstrations at the BBC headquarters in central London at Oxford Circus. And this is part of our pledge that until our leader, Bob Wine Kyagulanyi, is ordained or fully in place as our president, our elect president, we'll be demonstrating and carrying out all these demonstrations. We will never tire. Now, this is just to get you started. I'll run through a few things. The first one is to congratulate our president of winning the elections, which were held on the 15th. Let you not be deceived that our president lost that elections. We won with a 71%, and we, NOOP, are supposed to be in power. NOOP won those elections, and our president, who is hiding away from the terror regime, did win. My president, we know, we saw you yesterday in the picture at River Nabgabo in Kigali. And we know you live in Kichururo, Kigali. Stay put until it's safe for you to come out. We know where you are. We saw you at River Nyabugabo in Kigali, and we know you live in Kichuriro. You will come out at the right time. We may be blessed today. We may hear our president talk to us through this demo. If he gets the space, he may talk to you, the public. Our president. Now, I won't forget one thing. After congratulating our president, I want to thank all the citizen media for the good job done. Thank you very, very much. Citizen media, to include anybody, Empire, Lumbuye, JB, Plus Media, the one in the Emirates, and everybody, you do a good job. Not to forget Muna 256. You've done a fantastic job. Keep doing it. Since we were skimmed out of the main media like BBC, the only hope and how we get our message out is the citizen media, which you've done and done very well. Thank you for the good job done. We want to thank you for that. Now, I'll start with the dead. In memory of Rita Nabukenya, who died 5 years ago, to the 24th May, she was our first martyr, and she'll be remembered. And we are going to do a statue for Rita Nabukenya, who stood for NOOP and NOOP values, and all the dead. I won't mention all the names. I'll stop with Rita Nabukenya. Rita Nabukenya, you didn't die for nothing. We look at you as our hero, and we keep the struggle going until the end. Thank you, Rita. You are remembered. We do anything it takes to remember you, and we'll keep the fight going until we get Museveni out of power. Now, to mention but a few things, we are going to be demonstrating here. The demonstration starts in a few minutes from now. We'll be wanting to claim back our victory, which Museveni has snatched. And we'll be passing the message. We want BBC to cover us, just like they covered Museveni for 5 years in the Bush War. That is the reason we are here. BBC is always quiet. BBC never says anything about our torture, our murder, our abductions, our sodomizing, our rapes in Uganda. The reason why we are here is to pass that message to BBC. If you covered Museveni for the 5 years on BBC Africa and Focus on Africa, you should reciprocate the same things to us who have been fighting Museveni for 40 years. When Museveni came to power, for those who are younger, they don't know
why we are wearing red. Red in Uganda means change. If you're a woman and the thugs, the military junta's forces, One more for both of them. We want to know what we have to do to be on the mainstream media by the BBC. We want to know, the Ugandans, how much we will have to pay to the BBC to talk about Uganda. We want to know how many tons of our gold reserves from Uganda should be paid to the BBC to speak up about the human rights abuses, the lack of democracy, corruption in Uganda, the kidnapping, the raping, the sodomizing of Ugandans. The BBC is the voice of the voiceless. Our question as Ugandans, we are asking the BBC, how many tons of gold should we pay you? And you talk about Uganda, lack of human rights and respect of law. We are here today, we've been here before, and we are back again with the same reason. There is no visibility of the BBC in Uganda. The BBC is the structural reinforcement to the brutal dictator. The BBC is the life support machine to the junta of Uganda. The BBC facilitated the brutal dictator seizing power in Uganda by the use of force. The BBC are responsible today for what is happening in Uganda. The lack of democracy is the BBC. The human rights abuses in Uganda sits on the heads of the BBC. The lack of injustice in Uganda, including corruption, sits on the head of the BBC. Why I say the BBC are responsible for bringing the brutal dictator Museveni to Uganda. The BBC facilitated, enabled the warlord Museveni to seize power in 1986 by William Pike, then who was the journalist in Nairobi, and he was embedded for the last 4 years with NRA, meaning the National Resistance Army, which was by then fighting a guerrilla war in the Rural Triangle. The BBC on daily basis from 1982 to 1986, every day we could hear the BBC condemning the Betes regime while Museveni was fighting in the bush. The BBC You stand responsible today for the human rights abuses in Uganda. The BBC is the structural pillar in our suffering in Uganda. The BBC, I repeat, that the structural reinforcement to the brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda. The BBC are the life machine, the life support machine to the BBC. You are the life support machine to the brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda. Without the BBC, Museveni will not be today in Uganda. The BBC, you have sanitized the crimes. The massacres in Uganda has been mobbed away by the BBC. The evidence of the Ugandans who are being murdered, who are being raped, who are being sodomized, the land grab in Uganda is normal, has been normalized by the BBC. The BBC will talk about democracy around the world, but they don't talk about the lack of democracy in Uganda because they're in the pockets of the brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda. They assigned William Pike, a BBC journalist, to sanitize and polish the image of the brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda for the last 41 years. Right. The BBC, you stand responsible for the human rights abuses in Uganda because you brought Museveni to Uganda. Museveni is in Uganda because of the BBC. Museveni is torturing Ugandans because of the BBC. Museveni is raping, sodomizing Ugandans because of the silence by the BBC. The BBC has never condemned Museveni of his torturing and abduction of Ugandans after the January elections 2026. It's normal business by the BBC to remain silent while Ugandans are being murdered by the brutal dictator. The BBC, you are the founders of this brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda. Right. We have never seen the BBC reporting any human rights abuses in Uganda apart from the wildlife telling us lies how the elephant in Uganda he has given to twins and triplets. That's impossible. We've never seen a lion giving triplets. That can be and is the headline news by the BBC. Talking about wildlife, animals' life for the BBC comes first before human rights. That is a shame on the BBC. As we Ugandans, we are going to camp here until the BBC come out in the open and condemn their own man, Museveni, the brutal dictator, whom they facilitated to come to power in Uganda.
Yes.
People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
You might be wondering why Ugandans keep coming outside the BBC. The BBC, they played a very structured implementation of bringing the brutal dictator Museveni to Uganda.
Yes.
They are the lifeline of the brutal dictator.
Yes.
They are the life support machine of the brutal dictator.
Yes.
They facilitated the brutal dictator to come to power in Uganda. The structural reinforcement of the BBC in Uganda has made sure that the longest brutal dictator, the Duke of Uganda, has ruled Uganda for 41 years.
Yes.
You have sanitized and mobbed these crimes against humanity.
Yes.
You've supported Museveni throughout the 41 years. The BBC has never condemned the torturing, the raping of Ugandans.
Yes.
You have recruited the local journalists who are related to the first family, the Byaruhangas. These are cousins to the brutal dictator.
Yes.
And that's the appointment which was made by the BBC just because they wanted to buy loyalties from the brutal dictator. Catherine Byaruhanga.
Yes.
She's related to the brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda. Alan Kasuja,
yes,
who was Yaman in Nairobi,
yes,
who never reported about Uganda,
yes,
is now working for the brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda.
The
junta.
Yes.
People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
As we've just started, I'll pass on this mic to one of my colleagues.
Yes.
But today, we are here to expose the double standard of the BBC.
Yes.
They can call Putin a dictator.
Yes.
But they cannot call Museveni a dictator.
Yes.
They can call Maduro a Venezuelan dictator who was in power for 13 years.
Yes.
But they cannot call Museveni a brutal dictator of 41 years a dictator. That is the double standard of the BBC. Shame on the BBC.
Yes.
Shame on the BBC.
The BBC.
Shame on Mr. Sharma.
Shame on Mr. Sharma.
Mr. Sharma, we know very well that you've sat on the news about Uganda.
Yes.
The director of the BBC, Mr. Davis.
Yes.
We know you are leaving very soon.
Yes.
But would like you to talk about Uganda.
Yes.
People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
NUP.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
NUP.
Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, BBC. We are Ugandans here to demonstrate to you about the bad news. You don't report anything bad about Uganda. The only time you are seen reporting in Uganda when the animals in the national park have given birth to a puppy, a young, a cub. You care about animals than the rights of people. We care about animals, but human rights come before animal rights. When Museveni is degrading the environment in Uganda, BBC is quiet. Museveni, the junta of Uganda, has been in power for 41 years. BBC is gagged. They are quiet about what's going on in Uganda. The junta ruling Uganda was fighting the regime in Uganda for 5 years. You covered him on BBC Africa. You covered him on Focus on Africa. Daily, you had a reporter embedded with this Museveni, the junta, William Pike. You reported daily about Uganda and the bad regime, the abductions and the rape. Fast forward, for 40 years, he has done 100 times worse.
Don't worry.
BBC, you've never come out to report the rape, the sodomizing, the abductions, the murder. You've gone quiet. Why? Because you are in bed with the dictator of Uganda. We are not asking for money. We are asking for your silence. Your silence conditions the dictator to kill us in darkness. And this is, you've done it so perfectly. The dictator has made corruption his currency. You've normalized corruption. When the dictator went out to buy a 50 million jet, Gulfstream, you kept quiet. That was British aid money. He used to buy the plane, a private jet, to fly him globally. When it happens to Maduro, you are the first to report this. Who is worse? Putin has been in power for only 26 years. Every day, his headline news. Museveni, the junta of Uganda, has been in power for 40 years. You've never reported about him. BBC, I'm not asking for fairness. You rather keep quiet forever and don't come back to Uganda. All says something. We are not going to take this lying. The people from BBC, every reporter from BBC is a rich man in Uganda. Take William Pike. Once he left Uganda, he has the best tour companies in the East African region. He has tour companies in Nairobi. He has tour companies. That's a former reporter of BBC. Google him and you see what William Pike. He's a rich man. He's never reported about Uganda. But for 5 years, he was reporting about the unfairness, the abductions. Fast forward again. BBC, when you think it's unfair and when will you be coming out? Every day you used to bring this fake John Sentamu on TV here and he would talk about Zimbabwe. What's wrong calling Sentamu to talk about Uganda? Because you and the fake Bishop Sentamu are in bed. Every day we saw Lord Sentamu, the fake Bishop, the fake Lord, talking about Zimbabwe. You may not be surprised. Sentamu is Ugandan, not Zimbabwean. But you kept reporting about Zimbabwe. BBC, do we get it here? Do we understand it? How can somebody from Uganda talk about Zimbabwe, Mugabe being bad, and you don't bring him back to talk about Uganda? That shows a lot of bad things about BBC. How come you select Sentamu, the fake bishop, who has been dethroned of bishop, a fake lord, to talk about BBC every day? He cut his collar on TV here. But you've never brought him back to cut his collar on TV about Uganda. This is very unfair. BBC, your silence is a harm. It's conditioning the dictator. It's facilitating. It's enabling the dictator. You have blood on your hands, BBC. Now, you've normalized this killing. Because you don't report on them, you've normalized this killing. I know, BBC, you are interlinked with CBS and Fox News. Once you report this, it will go global. We've improvised. Now we have citizen journalism that covers us. It's not enough. BBC, you saw what happened a week ago in the European Parliament. Yes. The European Parliament came out to vote against the terror in Uganda. You never reported an iota of that.
No.
But wait, when Museveni, the junta of Uganda, comes to UK, you will put a red carpet, the cameras will come out rolling. This is the unfairness. You don't know there was a vote of 514 members who voted against the junta in Uganda. NUP.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
NUP.
NUP.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
NUP.
Thank you for listening.
Silence of the BBC is a crime to Ugandans. We want the BBC to come out and condemn the brutal dictator of Uganda, Museveni. I repeat again, the BBC, you have forced Museveni on us because Museveni is playing your games. Museveni represents your interest in Uganda. We ask ourselves, what are those interests for the BBC in Uganda? This is a question for the BBC to tell us. If you are not reporting about the raping of women in Uganda, if you are not reporting about corruption in Uganda, if you are not talking about the lack of democracy in Uganda, what is your basis of being in Uganda? What will be the reason for you to be in Uganda? What will be your interest if you are silent on Uganda? Darkness is the dictator's friend. When you don't talk about injustice in Uganda, that means that you have given a green light to the brutal dictator Museveni to carry on torturing, raping, kidnapping, abduction, non-stop in Uganda. We are fighting on the road for years and years. The BBC is playing selective journalism because they don't get nothing from Uganda. I want to ask you, how much about the raping, the sodomizing of Ugandans? Shame on you. The BBC is the eye, is the voice for the voiceless around the world, including Uganda. You can talk about Pakistan and Afghanistan fighting. These are brothers. But you cannot talk about the injustice, the human rights abuses, the lack of democracy. We as Ugandans, this year, January the 15th, the brutal dictator held sham elections in Uganda. And Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Bobi Wine, he came out as the winner. But the brutal dictator robbed the Ugandans of their victory. The international community has condemned the action by this brutal dictator. CNN has condemned it. Sky News, they've condemned it. ITV, they've condemned it. Al Jazeera, they are still on the ground. The BBC is nowhere to be seen. I repeat, the breaking news about Uganda was yesterday when they reported 2 girls kissing one another. That is the breaking news by the BBC. They cannot talk about corruption in Uganda. They cannot talk about the injustice in Uganda. Democrats around the world, 41 years, does not represent democracy. 41 years of the junta in power does not represent human rights. The women you see standing behind me, they've gone through torture. And one of that torture, most of them have been raped. But the BBC is quiet. We are the victims of the brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda. Would not be here if it wasn't the BBC to bring the brutal dictator Museveni to Uganda. The BBC played a vital role, a structure reinforcement of what is happening in Uganda. They facilitated, enabled, supported this brutal dictator to hide his crimes against humanity. People power, our power, NUP, everywhere. Thank you.
Hello, Ugandans.
Hello. Ewa. Paper down. Ewa. Paper down. Ewa. Everywhere. NUP. Ewa. Paper down.
Now, I want to make this clear. We are not enemies to BBC.
This is a man who has created war around the Great Lakes. When I say the Great Lakes, I mean DRC Congo. Museveni is M23. Museveni is in Southern Sudan. Museveni is in Central Africa. Museveni is Al-Shabaab in Somalia. This is all one man. And look at the biggest lie. The biggest lie by the BBC to claim that the 1 million Rwandese who were murdered in cold blood were Tutsi. That is fake news. The 1 million people who were murdered in Rwanda were Hutu. Kagame by then, he was serving in the army of Uganda as a major. And Museveni invaded Rwanda. This was Museveni invading Rwanda. Kagame was a major in the Ugandan army. Now he's the president of Rwanda. How on earth the BBC give the world fake news that the Hutu killed the Tutsi? It's the Tutsi who killed the Hutu in Rwanda. The BBC has never carried out a panorama program, at least even for 15 minutes, to go on the ground and get the facts right. What happened? When this was going on, the BBC was quiet. But when it comes to send immigrants back to Africa, the BBC is on the ground in Rwanda, trying to convince the world that you can come from a civilized country like the UK and be deported to Rwanda, where another second longest brutal dictator, Kagame of Rwanda, he has been in power for 27 years. And you are sending the so-called immigrants to Rwanda. What is the root causes of these refugees coming to the UK? It's because of the UK supposed dictators around the world, including Museveni, the brutal dictator of Uganda. When we talk about immigrants, the UK is the mother, is the main cause of why immigrants from Afghanistan, from Pakistan, all over the world come here, because they've got something to claim. We claim security. We leave our countries because we are the victim of the UK policy supporting dictators around the world. And when we run to save our lives, we are called illegal immigrants. But in Uganda, we've got over 3 million Indians. We've never called them immigrants. We've got over 500,000 UK citizens living in Kenya. We don't call them immigrants. Because we want to enjoy the same democracy we enjoy today here. That's the same rights we want to live in Africa, including Uganda. The brutal dictators have told you 500 armored patrol cars every day in his convoy, while a country like Uganda does not have even 20 working ambulances. St. Thomas Hospital down the road, or Portland Hospital down the corner, they've got more ambulances than the whole country, Uganda. That is where the £1 billion is sent every year by the UK government. That £1 billion should be helping our pensioners to have winter fuel money. That £1 billion should be helping the homeless in London and all the cities around the UK. That £1 billion should be helping our veteran who fought for democracy and the rights we enjoy today. And that money is being sent to the richest bastard, Museveni of Uganda, who is 15 billion rich. Shame on the BBC. The BBC has never carried out an investigation, a panorama program where the brutal dictator got his riches from. Museveni is the second richest man in Africa.
Yes.
The businessman by the name of Dangote, a Nigerian businessman who made his money in the lawful channel. Museveni is the second richest man in Africa. Yes. This is your money. This is taxpayers' money. Yes. Being sent to Uganda. Yes. With no accountability. People power. Our power. NUP. Everywhere. When we stand here, this is the reason why the BBC is not covering news about Uganda. Because the government will feel ashamed. We understand the corporation is part of the establishment. They have to say what 10 Downing Street say. They have to be in line with what the Prime Minister is talking about. The BBC, you have connived with the brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda in silencing the voice of change, democracy, respect of human rights, while here we enjoy the freedom of speech. If not, we will not be here standing. The women you see me behind me, I repeat, they've gone through torture, and the men, I repeat, we are not going to be ashamed to say the truth. Yes. We are the victim of the brutal dictator, Museveni of Uganda. Yeah. Wouldn't be here today if Museveni wasn't in power in Uganda today. Financed, facilitated, enabled by the BBC. The BBC is the structural pillar of this dictatorship in Uganda. It's Uganda whereby Ugandans cannot afford a £1 paracetamol, but the brutal dictator, he has got a motorcade of 500 armored cars, and every day he spends £2.5 million. Shame on the BBC for not reporting. This should be the headline news. This should be the breaking news about Uganda. You have investigative journalists. They should be going to Uganda. I can see that girl going through. She worked for the BBC and I've seen her. But she has never reported about women in Uganda being raped. As a woman, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Shame on you.
You should be reporting about Ugandan women who are being raped on a daily basis. And you know that. People power. Our power. NUP. Everywhere. Thank you. DJ. No, pardon. Why we are wearing red? Red in Uganda means change. If you're a woman and the thugs, the military junta's forces, come across you wearing a red beret or anything red, if you're a woman, the punishment will be tortured and raped. If you're a man, you'll be sodomized. I repeat, these two punishments are being used as torture in Uganda under this brutal dictator, Museveni of Uganda. We'll still call on the BBC. The silence on Uganda means death for Ugandans. The lack of visibility by the BBC in Uganda That is a death sentence to Ugandans. The selective journalism about Uganda is a crime against humanity. We stand to have the fairness, the same, the way how you report about Ukraine, Russia, the brutal dictator Putin of Russia is one of the worst dictators around the world, and he has been in power for 28 years now. Uganda, the same. We have the longest brutal dictator in the world, 41 years of dictatorship, of kidnapping, raping, sodomizing, the abduction of Ugandans, lack of no political space in Uganda under this brutal dictator, and the BBC is quiet. We repeat our words. The BBC is the structure reinforcement of the brutal dictator in Uganda. The BBC in 1982, when this brutal warlord went to the bush in Luwero Triangle, the BBC assigned a special journalist by the name of William Pike, one of the richest journalists right now in Uganda and Kenya. My question I'll ask, how much does a journalist paid who work for the BBC? If you are paid a lot, might be 60 to 80,000, but William Pike is the richest man in Kenya and Uganda. We understand where he got his money from. He was given as a gift by the brutal junta Museveni to silence, to sanitize, to mob all the crimes committed by the junta Museveni of Uganda. The BBC assigned again William Pike to go to the bush in Luwero Triangle to report the fake news about Obote by then, who was the president of Uganda. Museveni has been playing this game for such a very long time. Daylight, he'll come as a civilian. In the night, he'll wear military camouflage, come on the village, kill the whole village in the name of government soldiers. While it's Museveni playing his data games, you'll understand from me that M23 is Museveni in DRC Congo. The BBC, you know this very well. But you try to portray that M23, they are Congolese. You take Al-Shabaab in Somalia. This is a branch of Museveni. Museveni gets £8 billion from the US to ride and fight that war in Somalia. Museveni is in Southern Sudan. Most of the oil wells in Southern Sudan, 75% belong to Museveni. That is the dictator we are talking about. The same dictator owns 500 armored cars, while Ugandans cannot access a working ambulance. That is Uganda under Museveni. Ugandans cannot afford a £1 paracetamol. Ugandans cannot afford even a surgical glove. But Museveni, the junta of Uganda, is the richest bastard in the world with £15 billion. All that money comes from the UK. That is taxpayers' money. The UK sends £1 billion every year to Uganda with no accountability. £1 billion goes to Uganda with no accountability. That money should be staying in the UK to help our pensioners for the winter fuel. That £1 billion should be rehousing our brothers and sisters who are sleeping in the streets of London and other cities. That £1 billion should be helping our veterans who fought for the democracy and the freedom we enjoy right now here. If we had been in Uganda, we'll never dare come out and stand and speak up about the BBC. As we stand here today, we want to echo our concern about the silence by the BBC regarding Uganda. We will never stop coming here until Uganda comes on mainstream media. Not because we are having baptisms in Uganda, no. Because of the raping, because of the kidnapping, because of the torture, because of the sodomizing of Ugandans. The breaking news by the BBC, I want you to prove me wrong. Yesterday, they talked about Uganda was two girls kissing one another. Hallelujah. Is that breaking news today? No. I want to know, is that breaking news that BBC should be reporting about Uganda? No. That two women kissed one another? Yes. That is completely ridiculous by the BBC. Yes. You cannot be reporting petty crimes while Ugandans have been silenced, while Ugandans are being tortured, while Ugandans are being raped, while women in Uganda have got no space. The women you see behind me, they've been raped. Men you see behind me have been sodomized under this brutal regime. People power. Our power. Imagine you're sending 1 billion to Uganda, but the same brutal dictator is 15 billion rich. Get your mathematics right here. That money should not be going to Uganda. No. The brutal dictator has got 500 armored cars. Yes. He spends £2.5 million every day. He has got 80 gardeners who clean the state house. He has got 45 chefs who work in the state house. This is the brutal dictator of Uganda. The son is the commander of the Uganda forces. The brother is the commissioner of prisons. Salim Saleh is the minister of finance, is a brother to the dictator. The wife, she is the minister of education. We are talking about Uganda, a failed state under this brutal junta, and the BBC is silent about these crimes. The BBC cannot report about corruption in Uganda, the simplest thing they can report on. They've connived with the brutal dictator. We understand that the BBC brought Museveni to Uganda, and we as Ugandans, we are asking the BBC to expose the crimes against humanity by the BBC. People power. Our power. NUP. Everywhere. Thank you.
Hello, Ugandans. What my colleague just didn't say, the junta of Uganda, Museveni, when he's traveling, he travels with a motorcade of nearly 100 cars. Imagine the donor country, which is UK, the Prime Minister travels with less than 5 cars. Now, BBC, why don't you report? That could be breaking news. This is a person, the ruler, the junta of Uganda, who travels with a battalion of soldiers. All your money goes in making his life safe. So that's the junta, and we expect BBC to report that as a corruption. But BBC has normalized corruption. They can't see this Every day he travels with a fleet of 100 cars, over 200 soldiers. That's to count the mobile ones, not the static ones. And BBC has normalized not only corruption, but the murder, the abductions, the killings, the rape, the torturous cells he has. Putin has been in power since 2000 at the turn of the century. For 26 years, every other day I see reports about Putin. The junta of Uganda has been for 41 years and nobody has reported about him. The war in Ukraine started on May 24th, 4 years ago. It's every day on the screen and the pictures. Uganda, for 40 years, you've never reported anything. The time the junta got in power, that was it. Before then, BBC was every day reporting as there is no rule of law. Once the junta got in power, Museveni, you stopped reporting about the rule of law or democracy. You turned to animal rights and moved away from human rights. You always report about national parks, game parks, antelopes, elephants, apes, and whatever. Now, if you really fair reporting, what comes first, animal rights or human rights?
Human rights.
BBC, you've covered a lot of corruption scandals. I've never seen BBC report any scandal, corruption scandal. Yet, the junta in Uganda having 13 million or 15 million pounds, billions on his account, BBC doesn't report that. Is Uganda in your blind spot? Can't you see us? Maduro was in power for 13 years. You reported about him every day. Gaddafi was in power for 42 years. You talked and relayed photographs. But the junta has been the same period in power. You don't report about the junta who has killed us. Okay, he's killed us, maimed, abducted. How about the public institutions? Uganda hospitals have been reduced to cages. There is no medication. There is no institution. The legislature, the parliament is a joke. After North Korea, Uganda has the biggest parliament, 557 members of parliament. You still donate money to support the parliament in Uganda, which is 557. The MPs in Uganda get more paid than any European MP. You are quiet on this. I repeat, the MPs in Uganda are paid better than the MPs in Europe and UK. You never cover all this corruption. There was and are still a lot of scaffolds, schemes of corruption. BBC has never come out to report any corruption scandal. This country, Uganda, where the junta doesn't respect any rule of law, had elections on 15 selections. You never reported about it. But when Maduro came second time, you reported about the unfairness. He's coming back the second time. Museveni, the junta of Uganda, is coming back the 7th time after the selection he carried out on 15th January. Fast forward, when the junta of Uganda came in Uganda, the Uganda had a very good railway network. Today, there is no railway network. You've never come up to say such things. When the junta came in power 41 years ago, Uganda had a fleet of airplanes, over 20, tracking the globe. Today, we have 3, and BBC wrote an article. Uganda buys a new airline. 3. The stupid man, Idi Amin, bought 20 and were in the skies for all the time Idi Amin was in power. Who is better, Museveni or Idi Amin? NUP?
Everywhere.
Everywhere?
Everywhere.
I'll tell you one other thing. If you don't know where Uganda is, it lies at the equator, and we have a very fair climate, just like it's in the Amazon. Uganda doesn't need to mine oil. Today, he's trying to mine oil and pass it through one of his cadres, graduates, Tanzania. Nobody has talked about the environmental abuse. UK is quiet. Every single Greenpeace, everybody, Stop Oil has reported about the abuse of the ecosystem. BBC, you are quiet. They have produced reports, they have produced photographic evidence. BBC, you've never taken this one up. Your silence is the worst murder we have on our hands. Yeah. BBC, you have blood on your hands. Yeah. You've killed us for the last 41 years. That fake Bishop Sentamu, I will end with this, was always on TV here when Mugabe was in Zimbabwe. Every day he would come to the TV or you go to his house. The fake Bishop Sentamu. The Bishop Sentamu is not a Zimbabwean. He is a Ugandan. And when Mugabe left, you never asked him, what about Uganda? Ugandan, and he has never gone to cut his collar to say, stop abductions. So, did you stop reporting about Africa when Mugabe left? BBC, are you really fair?
You're not.
NUP?
Everywhere.
Everywhere? Oh, that's the one, yeah. Pero wa. Pero wa. Pero padano. Pero wa. Pero padano. Pero wa. Pero padano.
Now, I'm just going to be very, very brief. People power.
Our power.
Our power. People power. People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
Pero padano. Pero wa. Okay, I'm just going to be very, very brief. BBC, I think you have run out of information to publish for the people of the UK. If you want some information, on the 15th of January, they stole a very big drum, the village drum in Uganda. It's a very, 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 very big drum that belongs to the village of Uganda. And they stole it. And up to now, they don't know how to drum it. They don't know how to drum it. And I just want the BBC to take time and go and investigate and find out who has stolen that drum. If you really like investigations, you really need to go and find out who stole the village drum of Uganda. You should go and find out, and then let the world know that the village drum has been stolen. If you're doubting, go on the website of the Selection Commission of Uganda, and then you'll find there's nothing like selection that happened in Uganda. Why have they not? So I'm giving the BBC assignment, if they care. Someone said, at the end of the day, it will be the silence of our friends that will matter. And if the BBC chooses to be silent for matters that pertain Ugandans, especially when they stole their big drum, the village drum, and you keep quiet and you think you begin normalizing things, shame upon you.
Shame.
And shame upon you.
Shame upon
so as us, People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
We'll come and have a similar drum and drum it here and just say, listen, this is how the village drum of Uganda sounds. And if it sounds like this, then you should go and investigate.
Yes.
For God and my country.
Betty. Wakakubayo. Fairness.
NUP.
Everywhere.
NUP.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yes.
I'm Mr. David.
I know, but people
I won't be
just
so
listen
long.
to us. Well, but if you run it for
Mr.
Paris,
David, you are responsible for the output of all the news.
No, but it's nice. We're trying to
Everything
convey a
that's
message.
said
So a message.
at the BBC.
I did listen to you.
I'll be straightforward to you. And
I am
I'll let
very
you
sorry.
know, on
I'll
behalf of the people of
do that.
Uganda,
I'll do that. Yeah.
we are disappointed in your service. We are absolutely disappointed. We feel let down
Tell them.
because way back in the 1980s, with William Pike, you were reporting all sorts of lies.
Nonsense. Yes.
Reporting lies.
Yes.
You could get himself in.
Yes.
Good enough, these lies are now coming out more than 40 years ago. And today, you're not ashamed to be silent, pin drop silent about the injustice that's happening in Uganda. Are you not aware Uganda exists?
They know.
Are you not aware
They-
Uganda is a Commonwealth country?
They have
And
lost
yet
their
you
memory.
say you are here to serve king and country. What a shame!
Shame. Yes.
What a shame! I don't mince my words.
Tell
You are
them.
ashamed.
Tell them.
That's not serving king and country when you cover up corruption. It's not serving king and country when you connive with dictators.
Yeah.
Who are stealing public.
Bro. Yes.
People who are stealing public money.
It's like,
You know,
where's the American embassy?
money.
Where's
Yeah,
the-
yeah, was.
The rich people
the recent one.
pay taxes,
The cards-
and
the
1
cards
billion
came.
pound is being
They-
sent to
they-
Uganda.
they
You don't
didn't have a
investigate.
speaker, so we
You
gave them
bury
our
your head
speaker.
in the sand,
Ah,
and
they
you
carried
think we
it
are not
everywhere.
seeing you.
Yeah.
We are seeing
They wanted
you.
to buy it.
The world
They
is
wanted to
watching
buy our
you,
speaker.
and the heavens are weighing you.
Listen to one.
The world is watching you, and the heavens are weighing your work. How will it be at the end of the day when you say you're walking out of the BBC, when you have connived with a dictator, when you have covered up all the corruption, when you go home, your family says to you, well done. Thank you for serving king and country for the day. You also say, yes, I've done. What have you done?
Nothing.
What have you done?
Nothing.
Other than conniving with a dictator.
Yes. They
Like I
are.
said, I don't mince my words. I say it as it is. I wish I had sweet words to say to you.
Tell them.
I want to have sweet words to say to you.
No,
When
they
you have
don't.
covered up the murders in Uganda,
They need chloroquine.
why didn't you report about the shootings that happened on the 15th of January? What happened to your cameras?
They're dead.
What happened to the cameras
No
on the
battery.
15th of January?
No battery.
Should it not have been the BBC to be reporting about the stolen election, to be reporting about the murders, the shootings, the electoral commission, ballot ticking for the dictator? And let me tell you, you are ashamed. Why? Even when they did that, he still lost miserably. He lost miserably. Why are you quiet about this? This makes me understand that to you, corruption is a fragrance. Corruption is a piece of cake. It's a robe. How I wish You had spoken about the people who were shot dead. How about the ballot boxes that were stolen? Why have you not investigated the hospitals? To the taxpayers, you said you're giving aid. But you know very well that the hospitals in Uganda are themselves sick. Where is the fairness? Where is the integrity? Where is your integrity? Where is the integrity? Did you say it? What happened? You can't report about people kissing. What's wrong with that? You can't report about petty things. You reduce Uganda to chimps. Uganda has more than chimps. It has human beings like you. Yes. Don't you know that Uganda is a beautiful country? Why don't you borrow a leaf from the greatest Prime Minister Winston Churchill? He said it's the pearl of Africa. Why have you not taken trouble to investigate? And the answer is simple, because you have a fragrance called corruption. Because you have a piece of cake called corruption. You are clothed in corruption from the head to the cleaner. You are corrupt. Why have you not reported about these things? Did we have to come here to remind you of your job?
Sleeping on duty.
Not even sleeping, but intending to do so. Selective journalism. Where there is corruption, you cover up so that you can get a commission. Because you know Museveni will pay you handsomely. That's why you keep quiet. I'm here to let you know we are watching you. We are reading every bit of it that you produce. And there's nothing. You haven't reported about the bloodshed. You haven't reported about Muhasi's rapes. You haven't reported about Eddie Mutwe. You haven't reported about those MPs that were distracted. You haven't reported about everything that's been happening. All you do is write about petty things that don't make sense, especially to the taxpayers. And the TV license. Why should we be paying it anymore? We are fed up of you conniving with the dictators. We are fed up of the businesses that you do with Uganda. We are aware the British companies are in northern Uganda mining graphite, but they are silent about the injustice that's done to the people of northern Uganda. You never reported about the killings in Karamoja. You never reported about the injustice that was done to a presidential candidate while he was in northern Uganda, but you enjoyed the graphite. How corrupt! How corrupt! You are corrupt, the most corrupt in the world. You smell corruption and you blink corruption. We will say it to your eyes. And I'm glad I've had the opportunity to say it to you while I still can, while I still have the voice. So many children are dying in the hospitals. There's no paracetamol. You write about petty things that don't make sense. All you report about is the chimps, the frogs, the whatever, the alligators. Of course we know Uganda is beautiful, but what more can you report other than the chimps? Why don't you come and report about the culture of the people? Why don't you come and talk about the institutions that have been raped, the institutions that have been broken down, the roads that Sir Andrew Cohen left? Are they the same roads? You are all very proud of Andrew Cohen. Well and good. How about the roads he left? How about the entire grade A and B hospital he left? Is it still the same hospital? Why have you not gone to go and investigate it? Do we have to remind you? Corrupt journalists. And you have made journalism business and dirty business. And that's dirty money. You take it today, tomorrow it becomes a burden. You take it today, and tomorrow it judges you. You will be judged, and history will judge you. Like I said, the world is watching you, and the heavens are also weighing you. How will you stand on that weighing scale? described you as corrupt officials, corrupt CEO, corrupt officials, corrupt what, everything is corrupt. None of you is awake enough to say, come on, why haven't we reported about that? You are so quick to go and report about Al-Shara in Syria, but very quiet, pin drop silent about the evils. Are you not aware that a presidential candidate, in fact, the next president, the duly elected president of the Republic of Uganda, is on the run just because he won the election? Why have you not said our Bobby Wine, the global sensation, is on the run? Why have you not reported about that? And then you report about things that don't make sense, things that we don't need to talk about. Why have you not said, why have you not let the world know their sensation, Bobby Wine, is missing, is on the run? Why have you not reported that Bobby Wine's house has been taken over, it's now a barracks? Did you not know? Why are your cameras blind when it comes to Bobby Wine? Why are your cameras blind about Alex Mufumbiro? Why are your cameras blind about the plight of the people of Uganda, about our quest for change? Then after that you say, we don't want immigrants, we will stay. We will stay for as long as you make our land inhabitable. We will stay. Where do you expect us to go? We don't want immigrants on one hand. On the other hand, you are the same people marking about messing Uganda, which Ugandan would ever dreamt of running away to a cold land. Which Ugandan? Eh? Who didn't you want the sunshine January to December? I would never dreamt of dressing like this. When you are on the equator, you don't think about caddies. You don't think about woolies. All you think about is waking up and enjoying the day. Then you keep saying, when Ugandans escape the dictator, they come here, you throw them in Yazoo. You throw them in all sorts of detention centers without you asking, why are these Ugandans? Why are the people of Congo? Why are the people of Sudan? Why are the people of Somalia and what have you, that Great Lakes region? Why are those people escaping? The answer is Museveni and his brother Kagame. Eh? Why have you not asked that question? Then you say, we are fed up of these immigrants. You say, we are fed up of these people. We don't want them in our country. Why is you are the same people meddling our places there? Eh? You are now shielding Museveni. Don't you know he lost the election? Don't you know he's trying to fake the election? He's faking results. He doesn't have a single data form. He's punching here and there, trying to look for legitimacy. He doesn't have it, and you are quiet. And then you say you are the mother of all democracy. Yes, the mother of all democracy, imagine. If it were another country, yes. But the mother of all democracy, where are you? Why are you quiet? Why can't you speak up? Why should the EU be policing the Commonwealth? Why should the UN be policing things in Uganda? Why should the Senate be discussing things in Uganda? Why is we have the House of Lords here, friends of His Majesty, quiet? Quiet! Why are they quiet? And you, BBC, who's supposed to be the eyes of the world, supposed to be the eyes of the people, you are also quiet because you stink of corruption, because you are corrupt to the core. Because you are corrupt to the core, there is nothing left of you. The day you decided to go to bed with Museveni, to connive with Museveni, that is the day you started rotting. And we are telling you, we have had enough of it. We have had enough of it. When you go to northern Uganda, you report about malnourished children without questioning, why are these children malnourished? Why? What happened to their parents? You don't report about that. Simply because you want to come back this way to get money from the donors, to solicit for funds from the donors here, from the tax. In fact, I call it stealing. taking from the taxpayers. Because the taxpayers, the British taxpayers, you tell them lies. We pay our taxes, you tell us lies that you are aiding Uganda. You are not aiding Uganda. Uganda sits on gold. Uganda doesn't need these things. Eh? Stop your silence. Stop your silence, stop conniving with Museveni, and start reporting as it is. I didn't have any good words for you. I have to say it as it is. I am Mrs. Say it as it is. And I am Mrs. Don't give up. I'll come back and say it more.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is Madam Don't Give Up. Now, yes, DJ.
Madam, don't say it as it is.
They never had any word somebody was sleeping in the same bed. Somebody.
You.
To them,